Welcome back, everyone, to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. As always, we have Mr. Yinka Yusuf.
Hello, people. How are we doing?
And Akadike. Yinka, you were not home today. Today is Sunday, by the way. Sunday, the 5th of October. You've started traveling again. You're always complaining about me traveling, which I haven't done in a while.
You know, Yoruba people say, I did a mole.
Yes, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Ole moloko. That's what you are doing.
Ole nsalo.
That is what you are doing.
Oh, no. I have mine is evidence backed.
So even our audience can even attest to this, right? The studio recordings that we've had, everything has been in Lagos. Have we had one in Washington yet?
It's open whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, sir. Whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Mona, give me visa. Give me everything. I will come. No, give me visa.
Sukasa. My home is your home. Let me know whenever you're ready.
So I'm in Abuja.
Okay.
But it's work trip more or less. So
work. Okay. Okay.
But either way, wherever we are, we try to bring content to the people. You get what I mean?
There you go. A man of the people. So I like it.
It's commitment, passion, commitment.
I love
Those are the things that matter. Right?
I love it.
Wherever we are, no matter where we are, the show must go on. Yeah?
Now translate that into money, please. Por favor. Translate it into money. I need it.
Wherever we are, whenever we do, the money must come in.
I need it.
Anyway.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, Yinka, shall we get started?
Let's go. I'm ready.
Yinka, like I said, today's Sunday. This past week was a really bad week for commissioners in basketball in America. Okay. So
I can imagine.
So let's start with the one we're not going to talk about, right? Which is the NBA, right? So we've already discussed Kawhi Leonard and the no-show contract and all that. But now there's real stuff out there from Pablo Torre, which we know about. So now people are telling him to do other players and other situations, right? So the big one is my Knicks, right? Which could be a problem, right? So, but we're not gonna talk about the NBA today because while that will be a big deal, big story, Yinka, there is none bigger than what happened in the WNBA this past week.
Yep.
I mean, I could tell people you write the agendas, and
yes, sir.
I think you called it Napheesa Ethers.
That's the best
WNBA.
way to put it.
Now, for those who are not familiar with rap history, you want to tell them what ether means?
So, to a particular rap legend called Nas, who is Nigerian, by the way, Nas wrote a diss track titled Ether, right? And that diss track was directed at another rap legend called Jay-Z, which you all know, right? And the song was so iconic that it more or less became the adjective for when you diss somebody, right? So the title of the track is Ether, yeah? Very, very chill bit like that. It was great, yeah. So anytime someone disses somebody or gets at someone, what we say is you were ethered or hacking ethered, So that's what happened in the WNBA. Ethered and Cathy and the whole WNBA leadership.
Okay, so let's get into it. So one of my favorite WNBA players is Napheesa Collier. Remember when we were talking about this, I told you, Grant Hill is one of my favorite basketball players ever. Probably number 2 after Chris Webber. And Napheesa just reminds me of Grant Hill. The way she carries herself, even her game, in a way, their physical stature too, within the context of male versus female, a man and a woman are not going to look the same playing basketball. But they remind me a lot of each other. We both like Napheesa a lot. She's been number 2 in MVP voting. I think if she stays healthy, she will be the MVP this coming season with all this publicity going on.
Yeah.
Inka, the best way to describe this, she had a horrific injury in a WNBA
game 3 or game 4. Yeah, one of the games.
Either one. It was a no call. The officials called nothing, and she's out for the season, right?
Yeah.
And her coach went crazy. Is the most charitable way we can put this. So obviously, this woman is beloved. Like, Napheesa has no enemies in the game. Everybody loves her. She's a good mentor to younger players. She's, everything. Okay. So at her exit interview, right? End of the season, September 30th, she shows up to take questions at a press conference. And before taking questions, she's like, I have a statement to read. I'm not going to read everything. It was about 4 minutes long, but just some highlights. Okay. 4 minutes, 23 seconds. Okay. The name of the WNBA commissioner, of whom we're no fans, is Cathy Engelbert. Okay. She's a woman.
Yeah.
Remember that the NBA controls the WNBA. The NBA owns the WNBA. The NBA hired Cathy, right? Cathy does the bidding of the NBA. Nobody looks out for the WNBA. Nobody, I have some suggestions for how to fix the WNBA after this, but let's get into this. Okay. I'll just point out a few things. Okay. Since I've been in the league, you've heard the constant concerns about officiating. It's now reached levels of inconsistency that plague our sport and undermine the integrity in which it operates. Whether the league cares about the health of the players is one thing, but to also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage. Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is a lack of accountability from our leaders. The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA. For those who don't follow these things, the CBA is the collective bargaining agreement. The labor union and the owners, right? As to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. And that word is sustainability. But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Okay, I'm going to skip the next couple lines. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence. Okay. Our leadership's answer to being held accountable is to suppress everyone's voices by handing out fines. I'm not concerned about the fine. I'm concerned about the future of our sport. We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. We serve a league that has shown they think championship coaches and Hall of Fame players are dispensable. And that's fine. It's professional sports. But I will not stand quietly by and allow different standards to be applied at the league level. I'm sure they will find me. I mean, it seems like anything with free speech is fined now. And then Yinkashi goes on to talk about a private conversation she had with the commissioner. I think this may have been during the All-Star game, but don't quote me, right? And she said, when she brought up officiating, she said that Cathy said, well, only the losers complain about the refs. And then,
that is madness.
That's crazy. And then Napheesa asked about, hey, what about our 3 biggest stars, young stars, right? Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Page, Bukers, who are clearly driving, quote unquote, massive revenue for the league. And they're making so little, that's money wise, for their first 4 years.
Yeah.
Napheesa says, Cathy said, Caitlin should be grateful. She makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. In that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees. Imagine that. On their knees, thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. So Napheesa now continues, that's the mentality driving our league from the top. Now, I'm gonna insert
your points.
my own,
your own thoughts.
So Napheesa is married. Napheesa obviously co-founded is it Unrivaled? That's the name of the
Unrivaled. Yeah.
Unrivaled. The name of the 3-on-3 league that she started. It's she, Brianna Stewart, I think, and then Napheesa's husband. Yeah, and Napheesa's husband is the commissioner of that league, right?
Unrivaled.
So she goes on to talk about how she's had the privilege of watching her husband run a league where he has to balance 100 different things at once. I won't pretend the job is easy, but even with all that on his plate, he always takes time to reach out to players when he has an injury. I'll summarize the rest. She said, Cathy didn't reach out to her after her injury. She heard, calls and texts from many people, but not from Cathy. She heard from Cathy's number 2. But, in her opinion, the conversation was tone deaf. And on and on and on. My take on this, Yinka, I don't think I've heard anyone say this, but I think there's a ulterior motive here.
Okay, say more.
I think they want to buy the WNBA. And I think that's why they're destroying it first. Because I think in any other American league, you will get fined for these outbursts. Even though everything she says is true. But this will be considered conduct detrimental to the league.
She'll still be fine, Aki. That's still coming. Yeah. It's coming.
So, and now she's canceled her meeting with Cathy. She said there's no point. That was just reported today. So I think Unrivaled is trying to buy the WNBA, and I'm not opposed to it. I think the WNBA and the NBA should not be together. Okay? Yinka, I'm going to make some news by saying every time people compare the WNBA and the NBA, it irks me. Okay? Yes, they're both basketball leagues, but that's where the comparison stops.
Yeah.
Okay? And nobody wants to talk about it. Right? But there's many reasons why America doesn't watch the league. You watch, I watch, you like it, I like it. I've watched since 1996 when they started. Right? But again, big elephant in the room, the LGBTQ of it all. A lot of people will never watch because of that.
Yeah.
Right? So in that sense, the male equivalent of the WNBA is not the NBA. You know what it is? Do you know what it is?
What is it?
It's men's skating. It's the truth. That's where you'll find as many openly LGBTQ men participating in a sport. That is a big deal that nobody talks about. Yes, the basketball is similar, but you don't have men openly dating each other in their league. It happens in the WNBA. This is not any kind of judgment as to whether the people who think it's wrong are right or not. That's irrelevant. That's not the point.
Yeah.
I have my own point of view, right? Clearly I support this league, so you can guess where my point of view points to. But that's not the
and
point.
Akin, frankly, sorry to jump in. In all sports, this happens, right?
Yeah, but it's more
just
on the women's side.
It is accepted, right? And it is welcome. I think that's the difference, right? So in every other sports that we watch, trust me, there are LGBTQ footballers. Yeah.
Yes.
Trust me, they are on the men's side, but it's not.
But
it's
the
not
numbers.
Exactly, and the acceptance.
Yes, the numbers.
Yes. So I get your point,
and they're kind of connected, because without the numbers, you probably don't have the quote unquote acceptance.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I said the equivalent would be men's skating, because that's where you find gay men openly being in sports.
Yeah.
So I think there's a story here. I think someone has to buy the WNBA away from the NBA. You remember Ant? Ant was our guest. He's always believed that the WNBA is just a loss leader, loss maker for the NBA. And it's like CSR for the NBA.
You took that straight out of my mouth. It's CSR, right? Yeah. It's CSR for the NBA. But the unrivaled angle that you brought to it, I'm very, very, interested in that. Yeah, because on Arrival last year, the players made more money playing in less than 2 months than most of them earned playing years in the W. Yeah, and Napheesa and her husband and Brianna have shown that we can do this, right? Unrivaled was on TV, was competitive, people made money, right? It was a 3-on-3 tournament, right? But it's still, I watched, a lot of people watched, and one other thing that you probably didn't touch on is Napheesa is also, she's the VP of the Players Association. Yeah. So what she's saying is not really a Napheesa statement. It's the players' statement. It's just that she was the mouthpiece, right? And a lot of people said, oh, it's because she lost last year because of bad refereeing, and she lost this year because of bad refereeing. And she's like, guys, not really. Big deal. Yes, it was there was bad refereeing in the Liberty game, final game last year.
Yeah,
that made
really
Liberty win. It was bad. It was horrible. And also the no call that injured her a week ago or thereabout was horrible, right? But that wasn't what was pushing this agenda, right? And it's not a Napheesa thing. It's the WNBA Players Association that have said, yeah, go ahead, say this, yeah? Because every single player, Aki, every single one of them that has spoken, they were like, we're with Phee. We're with Phee. We agree with Phee. That's what everybody's saying. There is nobody that has come out to say, oh, we agree with Cathy. We're on Cathy's side. None. We've not seen that. Right? And Cathy even came out and she was like, I didn't have such conversation. Out of everything.
No. She didn't say that. She didn't say that. She said it was mischaracterized. That's how you know when someone doesn't have a defense. She never said, I didn't say that. She said it was mischaracterized.
You're right. But so out of everything that Napheesa said is the mischaracterization that you worried about.
Yeah.
But now that you said somebody's going to buy the W, you're thinking like a businessman. I like it.
They need to.
And they might actually have an offer on the table, thinking about it. Yeah? So because the NBA will also look at it and be like, you know what?
I don't need a headache.
Rubbish. Let's get it. I don't need this headache.
We don't need the headache.
I don't need this headache. Let it go.
so I hate to do it. That's why I said up front how much I like the woman, how much I love her game. I like her as a person, at least what we know about her. But I don't think she's coming to this with 1,000% clean hands. And I say that, tongue in cheek.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I know. No, everything she said is true.
Matter.
But unlike the other women, she has a vested interest. She is the founder of a rival league. That's my point.
Okay. I get no pun intended, rival, unrivaled. But it's like saying Big Three is rival in the NBA.
No, but this one they actually are. Big Three cannot pay NBA money. Unrivaled can pay more than WNBA money.
But see, that's my point, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the style of basketball, the structure, the whole stuff, that's what I'm saying, right? They're not playing, it's basketball, but it's not the same basketball. Yeah? If there's somebody that's competing with the WNBA, you might say it's the Russian league, the Chinese league.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. This is 3-on-3. So it's so bad that if 3-on-3 basketball, female basketball can pay their players more than a whole WNBA. That just tells you how horrible they are, Aki. Anyway, let's put a pin on this. Well, this is not the end of this story. We'll probably talk about this until something happens again. As in, until something significant, this situation ends. Because I kind of think an offer is on the table also. And probably a sale might even happen. Or worst case scenario, I think Cathy's going to be fired. She might not even make it to the beginning of the WNBA season. Something has to give.
Yinka?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to hear something real quick? Just real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Further proof that the NBA and the WNBA are not, that they should not be compared to each other, right?
Yeah.
Salaries. Well, I'm just going to say this and then we're going to move on. The rookie / minimum salary in the NBA, 1.27 million for 0 years of experience.
Yeah.
Right? That's the least amount you can make in the NBA. Let me scroll down to the WNBA. $66,000. So 1.27, 66,000 for rookies with up to 2 years of experience. Okay? All right.
Wow.
Let's quickly go to the veterans minimum, 10 plus years. Once you've served 10 plus years in the NBA, you cannot be paid less than $3.6 million. $3.64 million. I don't think they have a veterans minimum in the WNBA, right? So I'm going to skip that for 2 seconds and give you the maximum. The top stars in the NBA right now, 25-26 season, $59.6 million is the top single salary in the NBA, and the average is $14.1 million. Now, obviously, the average thing is a little skewed because the 50s and 30s raise the average. There's a ton of NBA players who make less than, but you know how averages work. Now, let me give you, because we're running out of time, let me give you the WNBA. Their super maximum and maximum contracts are $241,000 to $249,000. One is the maximum, one is the super maximum, right? So we're talking $59.6 million compared to $249,000. Okay, so it's like, is that even up to one game check? If you're making $59 million, no, it's not. You know, not. And then the average is $140,000. It's like $147,000. Is the average, while the NBA is 14.1 million. Median in the NBA is 8.2 million. So choose whichever one you want. So their biggest mistake is always comparing themselves to the WNBA. You should do apples to apples. Compare yourself to women's basketball in China, women's basketball in Europe, Russia. Right? Yeah. Women's basketball in Turkey, in Russia, right? And then other women's sports, because for better or worse, women don't watch women's team sports. They watch tennis, but they don't watch women's team sports. I don't know what we can do to get women to watch, but the reality is they do not watch. If women start watching, you will make more money. Right. Yeah. And because I think it's harder to convince men, unfortunately, because there's just so much toxicity out there. Men think all kinds of stuff about the WNBA, but women don't watch. That would be the easiest way. If women watch. Yeah.
But the older generation, the older women, probably they're lost already. And I mean lost in terms of they're not gonna. So everybody, all the female competitions are targeting the younger girls, right? So it's the same in WSL football, right? Open the gates, get the girls in, get the young girls in from school, get them to come and watch the games so that they can grow with the sport. So that when they then have, earning power and they have money in their pockets, they are more than happy to come and watch the games, But it's unfortunate. But those numbers are staggering, Aki, and they're surprising.
It's crazy.
Like I said, this is not the last we're going to say about this. I am almost certain next week something else will have happened between now and Sunday. But let's leave it at this for now. Okay.
Okay, so Inka, let's go straight to the Champions League. We had another week of competition in the Champions League. This is your show.
Yes.
You know, we don't spend a lot of time on the WNBA, so we're gonna move through this real quick. Best things you saw, worst things you saw, the good, the bad, the ugly, disappointments, and what impressed you.
So I think the major talking point of the midweek Champions League games will be the game between Barcelona, the games between Barcelona, PSG, then Galatasaray, Liverpool. Yeah. We can sprinkle a bit of Arsenal in there because we're Arsenal fans, obviously. I'll start off with the Barcelona PSG game. Barcelona was at home. Interestingly, PSG are riddled with injury. PSG's lineup, I was going to pull that up, and if you just give me a second, I will quickly do that, right? So that I could just read out quickly the people that started for PSG. So obviously the goalkeeper was in goal, Chevalier. The back four, Marquinhos was injured, so Zabanyi stood in for Marquinhos. The regular back four played. Midfield was Zaire Emery because João Neves was injured. Vitinha was there, Fabio Ruiz was there. And up front, it was Mayulu, Mbaye, and Bakula. Bakula is the only known name there. Bakula is not even a starter. On a good day, none of these three will start for PSG, right? Fair enough. They went into Barca and they beat Barca 2-1. Yeah? The game itself was a kind of stop and start game, you know, because PSG didn't have as much control and firepower because of injuries. They kind of held on, you know, they were hitting back on the counter most of the time. Yeah. Barca held the ball, knocked it left, knocked it right. By the end of the day, Luis Enrique's, you know, tactics outplayed Hansi Flick, right? And back, Real Madrid, PSG took their chance when it came, and they beat Barca. Yeah. Now we'll come back to Barca later. Just keep that in mind. We'll pack that for now. We'll quickly talk about Gala Liverpool. Gala Liverpool. The cracks are beginning to show. Yeah, the cracks are beginning to show.
I told you.
No. You were particular about the A player at the beginning of the season. You remember we both said this. You and I, we've spoken about how Liverpool had the perfect quote and unquote storm last year in terms of there was no issues, continuity, it didn't change much, and the people around them messed up. So they had a fantastic season. This time around that he has changed a lot. They are struggling a bit in terms of cohesion. Yeah. And we said for the first 5-7 games of the season, you can't continue to ride your luck. Yeah. You're flying too close to the sun, you will get burnt. Now all of a sudden, they're getting burnt multiple times. They lost for the first time away to Crystal Palace, and they went to Galatasaray. Yeah. That game, it was bad. Yeah. Gala could have scored more. Osimhen had Konate and Van Dijk on toast all through the game. And I'm happy for him. He's proven these are your top quality centre backs, right? These are your best you can offer, right? And see them. See, I'm feeding them off my palm, right? These guys can't hold me. So I'm happy for him. Very, very excited for him. But I'm worried about Liverpool, right? This is the first time they are facing adversity, and I don't think all of them are handling it very, very well. I don't think the coach is handling it well. I don't think the leaders are handling it well, especially Van Dijk, who came out after their loss and said that it said something that alludes to things are not okay on and off the pitch. And I'm like, sorry, what's going on off the pitch? Why did you have to bring that up? Right? I can see cracks, right? And we said this. You sold some players, you bought high profile, high high-end players, but did you really buy the kind of people that you needed, the backbones? So right now, if Konate gets injured, if Van Dijk gets injured, what's going to happen? Or right now, they are not even playing well. Who's going to stand in for them? In the weekend game, they played the game to Chelsea, which we'll talk about later, right? When they had to remove a defender, guess who slipped into centre-back? It was Gravenberch. Gravenberch had to go play centre-back. So I look at Liverpool and I'm like...
And Szoboszlai ended up in
right back again. Yeah. Right. So this is the first time we're seriously seeing Liverpool face adversity. The coach is not handling it properly. He threw a player under the bus against Crystal Palace. He didn't mention the name of the player, but he said, "Oh, it's the player's fault." I'm like, dude, guy, this is not how you function. This is not how you should behave. Now, you know when you're in a boxing bout and somebody has been beating you and the bell rings, and they say you are saved by the bell. This international break couldn't have come at a better time for Liverpool. Let them take 2 weeks. Let them go and calm down because they've been saved by the bell with this international break. Let them go and calm down. Let them go and face, rework whatever needs to be reworked, right? This is not a good look for them, yeah? So that's the Champions League. We'll talk about the other leagues, but those are the two games that really, critical in the Champions League. Yeah, go ahead, Aki.
Okay, so very, very, very simply about Liverpool. I think I've said a version of this a few times, but I'm going to say it again. Hopefully more clearly now. And I don't want to pile on just because they've hit a little bit of adversity.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say, I told you so. Not you, but just everybody. In general. Because I did say everyone will go through adversity. Even the Invincibles. The Invincibles drew 12 times. They had 26 wins and 12 draws. Yeah. And some of those wins were 1-0s that were like nail biters before the one goal. Yeah. There were 2-1s and 3-1s and 1-0s. They weren't all 7-0 Charlton against Charlton. So Mourinho's first team conceded 15 goals. That's it. 15 goals. A lot of the reason why he won that year was because of the defense. It was a war of attrition, right? Why am I saying all this? Don't want to go off on a tangent. There's a lack of character in that Liverpool dressing room. Okay? I could say it very boldly. Yeah. People have decided that Van Dijk has character. I have not seen it. People they've just given it to him. But he's never earned it.
I understand what you're saying. Or maybe I'm just being picky. Maybe not character. Maybe character might not be the proper word. But some people will argue and say, "Oh, but they've won things multiple times with him in the lineup, right?"
And they've failed multiple times.
So what then is the character that what exactly is it? The winning mentality?
So
what is it? That's my question.
Is an incredible player, right? Is not an incredible leader. There are no leaders on that team. People have decided because they have leaders bad of all of them.
They have leaders last year, though.
They had their biggest rivals who were not interested in winning for a variety of reasons.
Which is where I'm going to. So you're saying the reason they won last year was not because there was any leader in there. The reason why they lost, or rather, you should attribute their winning last year more to the fact that their surrounding competition, right, had horrible periods.
Fell apart.
As against, we had the mentality, we had the leadership, we had the, we had the people, to deliver.
You thought I was crazy when I said their win last year was a lot like Leicester in
I agree with you. I was just trying to, I agree with you. I agree with you.
So Salah, again, if we get to a point, I will swallow my words. If we get to a point where, Bukayo Saka goes on national TV and starts yapping about his contract, I will come back and swallow my words. But that's what Salah did, right? Klopp's departure was leaked.
Yeah.
they went into last season with their two most important players, Salah and Van Dijk, not signing contracts and saying kind of unsavory things about their club. You know, I mean, the stuff Salah was saying, that's not the stuff of leaders.
Yep, I agree.
So they actually don't have leaders on that team. Konate, this stuff he's doing now is ridiculous. You know, like he's been turned around, his head has been turned. So winning covers a lot of things though. So when you're winning, people don't talk about this, but we have to be strong enough to criticize even when things are going great.
Yeah, I agree.
There is a lack of leadership. It doesn't mean you need leadership. You need leadership to win. It doesn't mean you need character to win. I'm just making the point. They do not have leaders. And for some reason, Van Dijk is untouchable. People have just decided he's a great leader, and I don't see it. How is he a great leader? You know, he's a great on the ball leader, on the pitch leader. Off the pitch, I don't see it. So I think that's what's happening. And then I told you, Yinka, everyone will go through fallow periods. How do you respond to it? And some will have several in one season.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So Arsenal will have theirs. City will have theirs. City barely won today. You know, it didn't look comfortable. You know, and they're doing this with the most informed striker in the world, Inka.
Yep.
What if his form dries up? Where are the goals going to come from for City?
Yep.
You know, so you already diagnosed the Liverpool thing. You know, they won games they should have lost. They drew games they should have lost. You know, now, you know, chickens coming home to roost and all.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you. I agree with you. But that's it for the Champions League. Arsenal had the game during the Champions League also. Olympiacos, professional game, clean sheets, 2-0 victory. But as usual, some of your friends are complaining that the team should be Olympiacos. We should be blowing Olympiacos out of the water, right? Scoring 5-6.
They've won twice in London. Olympiacos have beaten Arsenal twice at the Emirates.
And I'm like,
before this last
anybody week. That expects a Champions League team to be blown out needs to check their brains out, right? Everybody that is playing Champions League this season deserves it because of these new rules that they have. You just don't have, I won the Bulgarian league, I'm here. No, you do you understand? There are people, for you to avoid the qualification, you need to have pedigree, yeah? And for every unknown team that is there, for example, the people that Real Madrid beat 5-0, the Kairat, I think they're Uzbekistan or Ukrainian, I can't remember the league they came from. They beat Celtic to qualify. They beat Celtic. Celtic has pedigree in Europe, yeah? Although, yes, the Scottish champions, Scottish league ain't nothing, but they have pedigree in Europe. So anybody that believes, you should be blowing people out, your brain needs to get checked out. The Greek champions are not. Greek league is not a bad league. The Greek champions are something, right? The same set of people, fast forward to the game this weekend, the Arsenal game, and I think this is a good segue. We can move away from the Champions League. The same group of people are saying that Arsenal should have beaten West Ham more than 2-0. Yeah, and they're complaining. And my response is very, very simple. Did you watch the game? That's all I say. Right? West Ham had XG of 0. They didn't have a single chance.
They had 0 shots on goal.
They had 0 shots on goal.
0 shots on goal, Yinka.
So, and it's not as if Arsenal penetrated, hit the post, had chances. It just happened that you needed a goal to score. And a penalty. You need a clean goal and a penalty to score. Take the 3 points, move on. Your team didn't play badly. You can only play as well as the opponents allow you to play. West Ham clean with 2 blocks of 4, right? What am I saying? A block of 5, then a block of 4, and they had only 1 person up front. Even Bowen was a defender in this match. Bowen was defending Calafiori rather than Calafiori defending Bowen. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Anyway.
Yinka,
yes, sir.
The Arsenal had 47 touches in West Ham's box. West Ham had 7 in Arsenal's box.
Can you imagine?
You've already talked about the XG. Yeah. There was a point in the first half where the possession was 81% to Arsenal. It ended up 68.3 to Arsenal, something like that. What else? We've talked about the shots. Arsenal had 7 shots on target out of almost 30, maybe 28, whatever it was. They took, West Ham took like, was it 7 or so? And 0 on target, which is crazy. Raya had nothing to do. But what people forget, Yinka, is West Ham beat Arsenal the last 2 seasons at the Emirates.
Even though Arsenal,
one was in the cup,
even though Arsenal walloped them at their own home, right?
6-0.
Yeah, but whenever they come to the Emirates, they take 3 points off the Arsenal.
They win.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's the same template. Soak up all the pressure, hit on the counter, score a goal. Right? So take the 2-0 win. You're top of the table. Akin, if anybody had told you at the beginning of the season that by the second Christmas, by the second international break, 7 games into the season, that Arsenal, given the tough opening schedule that they had, if anybody had told you that Arsenal will be top of the table, what would you have said?
I would have taken it.
You would have told the person that you're crazy.
No. So for me, I thought there were 3 contenders this year. I thought it was City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Yeah. I thought all 3 had very, very tough starts to the season. We talked about this, right, before the season started and after the season started. I thought Arsenal's away games were crazy. You know, going to Old Trafford where they never win.
St. James's Park.
Going to Newcastle.
And
going to Anfield.
Yeah. And also playing City at home.
Having Nottingham, playing City at home, playing Nottingham Forest at home. The only quote-unquote easy game they've had is Leeds. I wouldn't even say West Ham because they've lost to West Ham 2 years in a row. So and Champions League start. You know, going to Athletic, first time in a decade that Athletic Bilbao are in the Champions League. And then home to Olympiacos, who also have beaten Arsenal twice under different coach, one under Emery and under Arteta, but still, you know. So for me, and then the only time we were beaten was with a wonder goal.
Wonder goal
all season. You know, a wonder goal.
But my point, but my point is at the beginning of the season, given the fixtures, right? People looked at it and be like, the fixtures, the injuries, I think Arteta deserves a pat on the back. I'm not saying more than that.
Absolutely.
Arteta and the team deserve a pat on the back. The fixtures, the injuries, right? Look at Odegaard. Odegaard didn't even finish the first half for the 3rd home game in a row. And it was
it's a record apparently
that he had MCL. He has an MCL. We now don't know whether it's a tear or a strain. It just said he will be assessed. He's been pulled out of the international break. So that makes Havertz, that makes Jesus, that makes Madueke, and that makes Odegaard. On a good day, right? These 4 are significant and they will contribute to the team. But kudos to Arteta. Long may he continue. I hope after the international break, a couple of other people will come. Nkapie will be back. I think Odegaard. Something tells me it's a sprain. It's not a tear. So
they said MCL, but they didn't say whether it was a tear or
whether it ruptured or it sprained. So talking about the EPL again, the people that impressed me, Semenyo, Akin. I told you that guy. You know, when we had the live studio to the penultimate one, I said if I'm looking for a winger, that's the guy I would have gotten. Akin, the guy is on fire, man. He is on fire, right? And if Arsenal want to do where Yorubas call Babambari, you get. Imagine getting Semenyo.
They want to do Christmas for
Imagine
you.
Getting Semenyo in January.
They should bring him in January.
Hey, God. Hey. And probably flip one of Trossard or Martinelli, whoever. And bring in Semenyo, man. That would be fantastic. For me, as of today, he's the player of the season in the EPL. As of today, I think he will be. Yeah. Then the final game I wanted to talk about was the Chelsea-Liverpool game, which we kind of alluded to earlier on.
I think I told you. You were clowning Chelsea last week before this game. You're like, why are we even talking about this game? I'm like, because that is for me, I said he had the potential to be the game of the week, because Chelsea have talent. What they don't have is that cohesion. They don't know who they are, but they have talent. They have good players, but they keep swapping in the same level of good player. They're just switching them out. They're just switching them out. I'm like, what are you doing? I saw that Liverpool dip coming. I'm like, could this be the wrong time to be going to Chelsea? Yes. And I think that's what happened. Chelsea kind of dominated them, to be honest. I don't know how you felt about it.
Yeah, I agree. And you were spot on. Looking at the Chelsea don't have centre-backs right now. They don't. They're injured. True. So those were the things that I considered to say, if it's full, they don't have Cole Palmer, they didn't have the centre-backs. I'm like, of course, Chelsea can't. So this, for me, is more a Liverpool loss than a Chelsea win, if you get what I mean. Chelsea had no business, right? In my opinion, I'm sorry. Because of, it's because they didn't have the tools. I thought they didn't have the tools, right? If you're missing Cole Palmer, if you have your centre backs out, you understand my point? I thought, Liverpool are going to come in and bash these guys. But hey, that wasn't what happened at all. Chelsea proved to all of us, right, that we have a deep squad. Esteva was that young boy's name. He came on and he tormented Liverpool from the minute he came on till he scored. But you also, I joked, I teased you earlier on where you said at the beginning of the season, you said you will only take 2 losses. Once you lose 2 games, you've lost the league. And I told you that I can guarantee you by December, every single team in the EPL will have lost at least 2 games.
We'll have 2 losses.
Every single team, right? And this is what has happened already, right? Arsenal has a loss. Liverpool has 2 now. City have 2 already. So it's only Arsenal and Crystal Palace that only have 1 each.
That's crazy.
It's only Arsenal that have 1 each, right? So Liverpool, the cracks are beginning to appear. I think they ended the game, like I said, with what's his name at centre back, Gravenberch, with Szoboszlai at right back.
Szoboszlai at right back.
And if you notice that at the end of the day, what happened was Cucurella kept on attacking and Salah had to defend, more or less. Salah had to defend.
And Salah does not
defend. Salah does not defend. Or it doesn't defend well. Or it doesn't even defend at all.
It doesn't even track back.
Exactly. So Kerkers is not better than Robinson. And Robinson is already old. So you see Robertson, sorry. But so you see the concerns that I raised. Yeah. I told you, I said Frimpong was not a right back. Frimpong is a right midfielder masquerading as a right back. He is a faster version of what's his name? Of Trent. Right? I am worried about Liverpool's back 4. They don't even... You see, if Van Dijk or Konate goes down, there is fire on the mountain. The 18-year-old they bought, is it the Italian or the French boy that they bought? He's injured already. He's out for the rest of the season. He ruptured his ACL or so. So, I think the sporting gods, more or less, gave Liverpool a perfect season, a lack of adversity reading season last year to say, just enjoy. This year, see, I don't wish injury on anybody. But if you keep on playing the same set of people for too long and they go for international break, they play, they come back, they play, something is going to give at the end of the day. If it's not even a long term, it might just be a nagging injury that might be hard for a week or 2 or something. Yeah. So kudos to Chelsea. You proved where you're world champions. I typically don't like Enzo Fernandez. I thought he had a fantastic game. I'll say it. Yeah, I don't like him, but he had a very, very good game. Caicedo had a very good game.
He dominated
that midfield. Right?
Yeah.
So, slot, it is time for you to earn your slot.
Yinka, I asked you last week, is it time to panic on Florian Wirtz for the 3rd big game in a row?
Yeah.
Big game. He was benched again. Right? So, at the very...
Okay,
go on.
When he came on, Aki, within His first touch when he came on, it created a scoring chance for Salah. His first touch.
Oh, no.
And I'm like,
all of that is fine.
Good.
All of that is fine. So what I was actually going to ask you is, why isn't it Salah going to the bench? Why is he Wirtz? Because to be fair, Salah hasn't done anything this season.
Aki.
He really hasn't done anything this season.
Aki, I'm going to say this again. So if Salah goes to the bench, who's going to play his position? Liverpool bought wrongly.
What do you mean who's going to play?
Who? Please, who's going to play? Who's going to come in from Chiesa?
Move any of those forward players to you play Chiesa. It's shown that is,
See, I don't have a problem with Chiesa, but Chiesa, all through his career, Chiesa is a right-legged left winger. Chiesa is in the mold of your Martinelli, of your Trossard, blah blah blah, right? Yes, he can play Salah's position. But is he going to play the position perfectly? Why did they sell Harvey Elliott, for example? Harvey Elliott in my position was Salah's understudy. Yes, he's far from Salah, right? Yeah. But he could do a decent job backing up Salah. You sold him. Who did you buy to replace him? Nobody. Who did they buy to replace him? Ekitike and what's his name and Isak are they're like twins. Same movement, same style of play. Exactly. But you bought two of the same body shape, same everything. Whereas your squad needed flexing, needed building. Yeah? But you didn't. You invested significant amount of money on 5 players. And I get it, there are 5 key solid players. But at the same time, you lost people. You were replacing people. Right? So you didn't really strengthen your squad. You just replaced people. And you spend way too much money replacing them. Anyway,
Yinka, okay. We need to wrap on Liverpool and move on. But those 5 that you talked about, just real quick.
Yes.
Frimpong, we're not gonna repeat. You've said everything. He looks weak. He looks like not a defender in a league where you must defend. Where you must. No, but when you're playing in a 3-5-2 in Germany, it's very different from playing in a 4-3-3 in England, right? Kirkes, I'm sorry, love the kid last year, but we don't know that he can do what he did last year, and last year was not what do you call it? A one-off.
Yeah.
But I was telling you that he looked short. You told me he's 5'11".
He's 5'11".
That boy does not look 5'11".
He is 5'11".
He doesn't look 5'11". He looks tiny. He looks small. He plays small. He gets bumped off.
Yeah.
And when Robertson came in, Robertson was better, but Robertson's legs are gone. That last goal from Estavio, it was it's a matter of no legs.
Yeah, no legs.
That's it. He knew where the boy was going to go, but his legs couldn't go there.
Yeah.
So that's 2. Those 2 are a problem. Wirtz, I've already expressed my issues with him. He looks like a luxury player. He looks like Ozil. If you could bring 24-year-old Ozil now and tell him to work hard.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
No, that's not what they do. They just dance around. That's what they do. They dance around, And for me, what's concerning to me, and then of course you have Ekitike, and then who's the 5th?
Isak.
And Isak. And they're pretty much the same guy.
They are the same guy.
Talked about.
They're twins.
But you got for me, what's most concerning is, like you said, the center back, we talked about it. They didn't do anything about it. They don't have backups. While your rivals have backups to their backups.
Yep.
So
it's unfortunate.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's quickly run through the rest of the leagues, right?
Go for it.
League One, as usual, PSG drew earlier on today.
After losing 2 weeks ago.
But you can't give them a pass. The injury list is lengthy. It is lengthy. So I'll give them a slight pass. But they're still top of the table. I think Marseille lost, or maybe Marseille hasn't played. I can't remember. I don't know why. No, okay. PSG drew. Marseille won, so Marseille are now a point behind PSG. But that's it for the French league. Going to Bundesliga, still the same old. Bayern is on top, taking care of business. They're 4 points clear. might as well be 5 points because they're like 15 or 14 goal difference ahead of Dortmund.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But Dortmund are hot on their heels, so we'll see how it goes. Syria, Højlund scored the winner again today, right? And this is going to be... So this season, there's going to be a constant theme. And the theme is we'll be reminding United, right, of why the players are not the problem, right, is the institution. It's just United in general, right? Because you're seeing these same players, right, that have gone to clubs that know this is how we are going to play you. And they are playing to the player's strengths, right? But you just buy players because they're excelling there. You're not checking to see if they fit your style of play. United don't have a style of play. Even Amorim came in, right? He said, he's going to be my team. And he's bought a group of players. That don't necessarily resonate with the way he wants to play. You understand? So United just know this is going to happen. Højlund scored the winner today.
Šeško scored though. So okay.
but have you? So Šeško's 2 goals.
I'm just kidding.
Šeško's 2 goals could have been scored by any other person. The ball fell through. The one in Brentford, he needed 3 attempts to put it in the back of the net. Yeah. But I'm happy as long as the ball goes in, the striker is okay. I don't have a problem with Šeško.
Yeah.
I've said this before. Šeško is all right.
No, we liked him.
But there was no particular assist for the Šeško goal. The one he scored was a long through by Dalot. The ball pinged in the box. He came to him and he tapped it in. Right? They're not creating as much chances for him as they should. So that's the problem. So Højlund scored in the Serie A. Napoli won, but Juve Milan ended up a draw this evening. Your boy Pulisic lost the penalty. That will have taken Milan on top of the table. But as it stands right now, let me quickly look at their table before we move on. So on their table, we have Napoli's on top with 15, Roma 15, then AC Milan 13. So that's the Serie A.
Some people think Pulisic has been the best player in Serie A.
I agree.
So far. Do you agree?
I agree. He actually had a fantastic game today. The only thing he did wrong was miss the penalty. He's been
it bodes well for the World Cup for the US. It bodes well.
It's his fitness that is my problem. Yeah. But he has managed to stay, injury free for a long time. So I'm quite happy for him. Yeah.
Knock on wood. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to La Liga, which is the last one. And last week, our dear friend was mocking me because of he says how or it's not proper for me to name a club and say these are the people that will win the league, that who does that. And I'm like, dude, we did it for every single league, right? We did it for every single league. We had picks at the beginning and constantly we'll be double checking to say, do you still maintain your pick or are you going to change it? Yeah. My pick then was Madrid will win the league. Based on what I've seen so far, right? I still think Madrid have better ingredients to win the league, right? Oh, because they now considered 5. He was mocking me last week. And as God will have it, they say karma is the B word. Barca considered 4 today. And my problem or my concern with Barca has always been you are too reckless. The way you play is too reckless. Yeah? You're flying too close to the sun. You will get burnt. Barca has just played their second toughest game of the season. The last one will have been the PSG game. Sevilla today. Yeah. Sevilla on paper, yes, they are 4th on the table, but Sevilla on paper, Alexis Sanchez is their best player. That says a lot about Sevilla. Alexis Sanchez is their best player. And Barca had a dubious penalty, just like Madrid yesterday. Barca I didn't think it was a penalty, but they gave them. Lewandowski did his stutter step, kicked the ball away. He lost the penalty kick, right? He lost the penalty kick, and Sevilla go and they score 3, they score 4. They score 3, they score 4.
It's crazy,
right? I'm sorry, Barca don't look the part. I am sorry. Yeah.
I think Chile were dead last in qualifying in South America.
I think so too.
I believe.
Yeah.
Just to support what you're saying about Sanchez.
Yeah.
When he was on form, they were like top 2, top 3.
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, they won back-to-back Copas.
Exactly.
Now they're dead last.
They're dead last.
They're fighting thuggish fights.
Yeah.
With Brazil. That's the highlight of their qualifying season.
Aki, if there was vet minimum in football, he's on vet minimum salary at Sevilla. He's on vet minimum at Sevilla. And he turned Kubasi and whoever played centre back today. He turned them inside out. This is my problem with Barca, right? And you see, this is not banter or anything. It's the football that I watch and I analyze. You're too reckless. If you find a team that is very disciplined, they will punish you. They will punish you. And it's not a blip. Every single game they played this season has had the same.
They play the same way.
Yeah. I can say the Atletico Madrid derby, it's a blip. Things have resumed to normal, whatever. Madrid they kind of rest. I'm not saying they are the best.
I don't know.
Hear me out. I'm not saying they are the best looking defense, right? But in this in this La Liga that we are watching,
where they
don't play defense, they say in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man and the king, Madrid have 1.5 eyes in terms of defense. That's all I'm saying. And that's what I think will propel them to the title. And this it's just a guess. I might be wrong. Things might change. Hoyson might get injured. Militao might get injured. Or something might happen and things will. But right now, with the way they're playing, they look more disciplined. Is that asinine to say, Aki? Am I being crazy or what?
No. So I continue to disagree with you. I think two seemingly contrasting things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
So what I mean is, Real's defense was bad last year. Real's defense is better this year.
Yeah.
Real's defense is still not good. Right? So those three sentences could all be true.
It's still the best.
Yeah.
It's still the best in La Liga.
I don't know.
It is.
So what I would say for Barca. So I would say this in Barca's defense. If Pedri stays relatively injury-free, everything will be fine. Right? You can move the pieces ahead of him. You can move them around. Right? It's like if you're equalizing volume on podcasting equipment, right? You can say so you have Ferran Torres, right?
Yeah.
You have even Rashford, you have Lewandowski, and then you have the Energizer bunny that is Rafinha.
Yeah.
Right? And pretty much all of them can play across the front line,
yeah,
except maybe Lewandowski at this stage. Lewandowski has to play through the middle. So there's a lot you can do. But what would dictate where Barca go is not those guys. It's Pedri. And what used to derail Barca, in my own opinion, in the last couple seasons, is Pedri going in and out. Right? So if Pedri can stay relatively stable, where he's playing all the minutes you want him to play, you can rest him or whatever, but if he's playing all the big games, they will have less back and forth. They will have less, what's the word I'm looking for? Crazy type, up and down.
Pedri
I think they will be fine. And, okay, go on.
Pedri played today. He played 90 minutes today, along with De Jong, who are friends. Says once those two people are there, I'm fine. Right? Now, see.
But how can you say one is a blip, but this one is not a blip?
No. I'm not saying.
How can you say
I'm not saying this is not a blip. So see, even if you look at the numbers, they've considered the same amount of goals, right? I'm not looking at numbers here. I'm looking at the style of play, right? That game, that Madrid Atletico game, right? At 2-2, the game could have swung anyway, right?
No, that's fair.
Atletico got a penalty which they scored, and at that point, Madrid just went into. Madrid just went into. We need to consider, and there was a free kick and there was a counter-attacking goal in the last minute. Yeah. That's why I'm saying the nature of that game is the blip. The numbers are the same. Barca have considered 9. Let me check. I think Madrid too have considered 9. That's the number of goals they've considered, right? I'm saying is the style of play, Akin. It is. I'm not looking at results. Anybody that looks at the result will not agree, will not see what I'm saying. I'm looking at the games that I've watched. So this Sevilla game today, Sevilla should have scored 10. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. But you get my point.
Okay.
That's where I'm going to.
I hear you.
That's where I'm going to.
You.
So, but like you said, things can change, right? Maybe Lamine Yamal comes back, like Enro said, and like some other, and I agree also, attack can at times be the best form of defense, right? Once you have the ball, it's only one ball now. It's not as if you are playing. Once you have the ball, you're safe. Your defense won't do as much work. So maybe that's what will help Barca, right? But right now, with the way they're playing, with the control that they supposedly think they want to have, they're not having that. That control is not there like the Barca of the Barca we used to know. Teams are looking at them and saying, "You guys are there for the taking," and they've been extremely lucky in terms of goals conceded. Yeah, their goalkeeper has been very, very, very good at it. That young boy they got from that Espanyol boy, Johan Garcia, he's been very, very, very good. And because he's injured, I think he's injured. That it was Chesney that was imposed today. You could see the difference. Chesney is not bad, but Chesney is not Johan Garcia. But anyway,
it was they brought him off the beach last
exactly. So I know Barca has a lot of injuries to deal with. Garcia is injured, Rafinha is injured, Yamal is injured. I get all of that. Yeah. Everybody has injuries that they need to deal with and stuff. Right? But based on what they're playing right now, it might be mid-season, it might be January, and I can come back and say, with the way Barca is playing right now, I think Barca has fixed their issues and they should win the league. I can change that. So Barca is my team. That's the funny part. In La Liga, Barca is actually my team, not Madrid. But I'm being a pundit and an analyst here, not necessarily a fan. So, and I'll call it the way I say it. So, Akin, that's La Liga. And I think we've run through all the league. Now, coming up will be a 2 weeks break for the internationals.
A real run through,
Yeah. So it will be internationals for the next 2 weeks. So there will be no
which I'm not going to watch.
Which you're not going to watch.
Take a nice long break.
I will watch some.
Are these real internationals?
Yeah.
Nations League or anything.
No, I think
is real World Cup
qualifiers. The World Cup is around the corner. They can't play any Nations League right now. We need to know. We need to know the people that will come for the World Cup in June next year. So there'll be a break.
Is there hope for Nigeria?
So South Africa got docked 3 points because they registered.
I heard.
They registered an ineligible player. But we're still 3 points behind them as it stands. And I think there are 2 or 3. I think 3 or 4 games left. Yeah. So it's not in Nigeria's hands. We need somebody to surprise, and there are 2 people ahead of us. Winning. Exactly. We need to win out and hope Benin and South Africa. And we're not playing South Africa anymore, right? It's only Benin that we are playing, right? So we need to pray South Africa have a blip. If they have a blip, we have a chance, but we also need to win out. Yeah, I've already made up my mind that Nigeria is not going to the World Cup. I can't deal.
Ouch.
I can't deal with the optimism. Is now. I don't want the hope. I said I'm coming to Canada. I'll watch whatever game is in Vancouver or Toronto. That's all I'm going to watch. I don't care. We've already qualified for the Nations Cup.
Fatalistic.
We're already qualified for the Nations Cup.
You sound fatalistic.
We're playing in first from December. For the last 2 weeks in December, inshallah, I should be in Morocco. I'll watch the Super Eagles then.
Good.
But nah, okay, I'm not. Nah. You know, I tell you this. Hope for the worst, so that when something better happens, you're not disappointed. You're happy. Hope is that hope that kills.
What a way to go through life.
Is that hope that kills.
What a way to go through life.
No, but that's why we are happy and we are content.
What a way.
Right? So everybody that is saying Arsenal don't have an excuse to win the league. I don't expect Arsenal to win the league. If they win the league, I'll be happy. If they don't, I'll be fine. Just that your silly friends will make my life, miserable with their takes. Anyway, Akin, I can move on to Donkey of the Week, right?
Yes, please.
And of course, we know who the Donkey of the Week is, yeah?
Yes, we do.
It's a lady called Cathy Engelbert. I would have said don't do it again, but I don't even think you have the chance. I think you'll be fired. I think you'll be fired pretty soon. Yeah? I don't think she'll be... I don't think so. I think she'll be gone. Anyway, Akin, I think that's our show. So guys, once again, thank you very much. We really do appreciate the support. We appreciate the engagement. We'll see you again next week, but between now and then, you know what to do. Anything that comes up across our social media platforms, please like, engage, subscribe, especially on YouTube. Would really appreciate that. The numbers are growing steadily. This is episode 79, by the way, Akin. So next week is episode 80. Just like yesterday when we started, we thank you guys for the support and getting us to where we are today. Akin, over to you.
Thank you, Inka, for pushing through. Thank you everyone for watching. We will be back next week. And goodbye.
Bye, people.